Guys, this is Hunter with Huntsman Knife Co. And today we're going to be talking about the new Fell Beast and Z Tuff steel. So we wanted to do a really great testing video for you guys this weekend, but unfortunately with the storm that rolled through, we weren't able to film in the rain and the wind and everything. The mics and the equipment just weren't going to work. So I'm going to do just a little walkthrough video today to go over this model and go over some of the design choices, its evolution as a blade, and why I settled on this steel and why I settled on this design. So let's get started. So I've been making the Fell Beast for about 10 years now, and this model started out as a heavy-duty machete. When I started making knives, there weren't really any good machetes on the market. And one thing that I wanted to do was make a machete that was really, really tough and strong and could stand up to hard use, was lightweight, and was also geared towards the climate that I live in, which is the Midwest. So I made this model for North America, more for hardwood forests and less for tropical applications. So you can see this is one of the original blanks from back in the day. So these are 52-100. They weighed in, these blanks were about 20 ounces or so, and they're made from about 110,000 thick stock. So they're very thin. I used to just grind in a small bevel. And these were a really great blade. I had tons of positive feedback on these from customers. So I took a break from knife making for a few years. I'm a lawyer now. I just got back into it this year. And I wanted to take this design that customers have loved so much, and I just wanted to max it out. I wanted to make this the best possible version of this blade, and that's how I came up with the new model, which is the Fell Beast Legacy Prime. So for the Legacy Prime, we've made a few changes. Most notably, we've increased the stock thickness quite dramatically. So the old ones were 110 thou. These are about 140 thou after the grinding and everything. So that's their finished stock thickness. So, they're give or take, like 25% thicker. But to compensate for that extra thickness and weight, we really wanted to take that weight back out. So to do that, I put this nice, beautiful fuller in here, which was not easy to do. And then additionally, we're doing a much higher bevel now to further take out weight. A couple other small things that we've done. We've got a skeletonized tang back here. We're using Z Tuff on the scales, which these are half the weight of G10. So they save, compared to G10, about 2 ounces. And then just some other small features that we did to, further improve this. We've ground off all the mill scale. Mill scale looks cool, but it's dead weight. It doesn't help with the strength of the blade. And grinding these down takes out about 1.5 ounces of extra weight. So all these things put together, we've got a really, really lightweight package. I think that these weigh about 24.5 ounces. So compared to other big knives out there, like a lot of 10-inch chopper models you're gonna find from top manufacturers, those are gonna weigh about the same as this. But this blade and the reach that you're gonna get and the power that you're gonna get just blows anything else out of the water. So I wanna do a little comparison here for you and just look at how this stacks up against some other big knives. So this is a really great knife that I've used a lot. You guys could probably recognize it. It's an awesome blade. I've really enjoyed using it. I've used the heck out of it. But I just want to show you how big a Fell Beast is. So this is a 12-inch blade. Fell Beast an 18-inch blade. So you can see here, the blade alone of the Fell Beast is bigger than this entire knife. So the reach that you're going to get and the power that you're going to get from having a blade this long is just unmatched. It's a little bit like engines. They say there's no replacement for displacement when it comes to power. I feel the same way with choppers. There's no replacement for reach, and that's why I continue to make these really big blades, even though they're difficult and costly to produce. So the new Fell Beast are expensive. With the Z Tuff steel, these are gonna be a base price of around $600, although I'm gonna be doing a sale on them for the launch. So if you wanna check that out, head over to Blade Forums and you can save $100 on your blade and get a free sheath. But I want to talk about, why these cost a lot and, where all this price comes from and why I believe I'm delivering a really great value. So this is a blank from an older run, but you can see here, we're starting out with a water jet cut blank. Just the steel for these is super, super expensive. I mean, you can probably look it up and do the math. The steel is going to be around $100. Or so for a blank, so it's very expensive to start with. But these blanks start life about 30 ounces, and they're coming in at 153 thou stock thickness. So we go in, and on the mill, we're going to take out a tremendous amount of weight. So we're milling in these bevels. These are really nice and beautiful and even. We're milling in this fuller, which was really difficult to do. That's going to cut out about 2 ounces. And then as the final part of the process, we're going to use a process called Blanchard grinding, which is also pretty difficult and expensive. But Blanchard grinding is great. It takes off all of this mill scale and leaves a really nice, beautiful finish. So that's going to take out, at least another ounce or so of mill scale off. And then, to round it all out, I'm actually going in and I'm hand grinding these bevels in. So I'm taking out the mill lines. I do like the mill lines. I think that they can help with binding, but all things considered, if you have, if you take those out, you're going to get a thinner edge. And I just like the look too. So it saves some weight, cuts out, at least another ½ ounce. It's taking the grind a little bit higher. It's making it thinner, and it's just making the package altogether, really complete and really beautiful. So next I want to talk about Z Tuff and why we chose this steel. Why didn't we use 3V? Why did we move away from 52-100? What's going on with this? This is not a steel that's widely used in the knife industry yet. So originally, I've made a few fell beasts from 3V in the past. It's definitely a good steel. 3V is great. I think it's one of the most versatile and best steels in the industry. It's widely used. But I think for a blade like this, I wanted a little bit more toughness. I wanted a little bit more resistance to breakage. And I think that, some of that extra vanadium and some of the extra cost that's associated with 3V doesn't really lend itself that well to a blade like this. So, we wanted something that was going to be ultra tough, was going to be stain resistant, was going to be, impossible to break, and have good edge stability, good edge retention, but also be, somewhat easy to sharpen in the field. And 3V can be a little bit tricky to sharpen in the field. So I'd looked at this steel in the past called Z Tuff. It's made by Zap. Its original formula was called CD1 or coin die 1. It's a shock grade steel that was developed for coin dies. So it needed to have good edge, good stability, good abrasive wear, and also, and most importantly, shock and impact resistance. So if you can imagine the coin dies coming together, over and over thousands of times, the main mode of failure for those was cracking. So they developed this steel to be shock resistant, and this steel, when heat treated to certain conditions, can have the same toughness as S7, which is really impressive. So, I really wanted to use this steel. It looked great on paper. Its testing results are off the charts. Its foot-pounds of impact toughness, even at 61 to 62 Rockwell, is significantly greater than any other high alloy steel like 3V. It's a whole grade above that. But they didn't make this steel in the thickness that we would need for machetes. This was all made in very thick steel. So I contacted Zap, I worked with them, and we were able to custom roll 6 sheets in the stock thickness we wanted, which was 153 thou. So it was a hard process to even get the steel for these. It was like a 10-week wait. We had to go back and forth on a lot of stuff. We had to get custom sized sheets lengthwise to fit the blanks. So it was a really big and long process, but I'm happy with how it turned out, and I'm glad that we did it. So now, onto the performance of Z Tuff and what I really love about it. So first and foremost, Z Tuff lives up to its name. These things are so unbelievably tough. So I've gone through 5 of these blanks in testing, trying to break one, testing different stuff, seeing how they hold up to different stresses, and I haven't broken one yet, which is really impressive. And that includes putting these in a vise and bending them as far as my vise setup goes, which is about 120 degrees. I've beat on the spine with these with a hammer, chopped into metal over and over and over again, and then taken these for multiple bend tests, and they've all come back true. I haven't been able to snap one yet. So that's really impressive. Most other steels at that point would definitely break when you're doing the vise test after all that impact. So, that was my number one priority with the steel, is making sure it's tough enough to survive a thin stock, to survive these big, heavy impacts and hard use that it's going to be going through. And then secondly, we wanted a steel that is going to have great edge retention and great edge stability. So this stuff has really done well with the edge stability. I think that it's up there with anything. I think it's very similar to 3V in that regard. You can take a very thin edge and you can go through stuff without any damage. And then finally, stain resistance is big. You know, I hate it when my knife rusts in the sheath. I hate it when I gotta really clean and maintain a blade all the time. So this stuff's 7.5% chromium, it's semi-stainless, and with the heat treat that we use, it really maximizes its stain resistance. So I would put the stain resistance of Z Tuff to be, you know, right there with 3V, where it's not quite stainless, but it's good enough that you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to be cleaning it all the time, and it's going to be maintained very well. Finally, I just want to go over the fit and finish with you guys, and, you know, kind of the total package here. So I'm really proud of what I was able to do on a blade that's this size with this much surface area. It is made from a steel that's, you know, a super steel with decent wear resistance and 61 Rockwell. So I wanted to get a really good finish on these. I wanted these to look good. I wanted them to look clean. I think that we've accomplished that, but I do want to tell you guys, you know, this is not a perfect finish. This is not going to have the same level of fit and finish that a small knife is going to have, just because of the amount of surface area. I mean, you could see here, you could probably stack within this blade, you know, 5 or 6 5-inch knives. I mean, the surface area of this is just astronomical to try to finish and really get, you know, a streak-free, grit-free finish on it. Just wasn't really practical. A lot of people think that these are a stonewash finish, but a lot of people think that a stonewash finish is like a shortcut, or, you know, it's something you can do like a lesser finish and throw it in the tumbler, it's going to clean it up. That's really not the case at all. So if you want to get a perfect stonewash finish on a blade, you have to take it up to 400 grit. That's the minimum amount that you can take the finish to, where you're not going to see these lines. And we can probably get some of these to show in the camera here. You can see the grind lines at the tip, you can see the Blanchard grinding marks. So it just wasn't feasible to do that on a blade this big. I'd never get them done. They'd cost like $1,000 if we wanted to do that, and it's just stupid. We don't need a finish that good to perform. So everything about this design has always been from the start about performance, from the handle material selection to the blade shape to everything. It's just about performance. But I think we've struck a really good balance in terms of the aesthetic appearance, the fit and finish, and then, you know, getting the cost, the price point to a pretty reasonable area, all things considered. So, you know, I wanted to show you guys too. These handles are great. We went with Z Tuff, which I said before. It's a really premium option. It's made in America in Oregon. It's very expensive to purchase. We went through and, you know, really did these well. I think we did a great job of the CNC work. It has texture. It's super ultra grippy. The tolerances are really great. And I think it just looks beautiful to kind of round out this whole package of a blade that's lightweight, ultra durable, super performance oriented, and you know, is gonna really outclass pretty much anything in a trumpet competition. So that's all I have for you guys today. I just wanted to go over everything, and thanks for your time. These are gonna be available for purchase on the website currently, but they're gonna be, I think, $600 on the site. If you wanna save $100, go to Blade Forums on Wednesday, October 2nd at 7 p.m. We're gonna have a sale there. We got 30 of these that are gonna be sold. Comes with a free Kydex sheath, which is really nice, and you're gonna save $100. So thanks so much for your time, guys, and that's all I got for you today.